Omen.
78 doon niya kaya natin. Nakasakit ko.
Hmm?
Dapat ko pag-ibig.
Wow!
Bist du dabei? Was ist mit dir? Komm her, feiern wir.
Wir feiern das Neustarten
Ich bin der neue Restauranttester.
und das Durchstarten.
Und? Feiert ihr mit?
I was not so happy, being lonely, living without you. So I prayed so hard for your love in my heart. I needed you. Then I look up in the skies, and I'm thinking, why, oh why? There's all the many changes in my life. After all the caring and the laughter, no one else like you. I am not a preacher with this sermon. I'm so in love with you. 'Cause to live without your love, like the sun that shines above, is the magic of the changes in my life. And I'll never forget your love. You and I were meant to be, sweet as rain falling from the sky. You and I, is there all the many changes? I love you when I need you. I always be with you. So just look up in the skies. Why is there all the many changes in my life? And I'll never forget your love. You and I were meant to be, sweet as rain sky. You and I, these are all the many changes.
Small section of code that is. This will be the first verse of Happy Birthday. Repeat simply a new function. So for now, we're going to type void and then a unique name for this function.
First, we have Grammarly. The free version checks basic spelling and grammar. Grammarly Premium, on the other hand, provides in-depth writing feedback to help you be more clear and concise, and it even gives vocabulary and formatting suggestions. What I love about Grammarly is it works almost everywhere. It's so helpful for me because you can read your paper like 20 times, but the moment you submit it, you read it back and you're like, how did I not spot those mistakes? Before, I used to reread my emails and my papers like 20 times, but now because of Grammarly, I only reread it once. I check all the mistakes that Grammarly pointed out, and then I read it again to make sure it all flows, and that's it. That saves me so much time. I also love Grammarly because it provides suggestions on word choice. What I love about Grammarly is all I have to do to find a synonym, to find a better word, is double click on the word and it'll give me suggestions. That also has just saved me so much time and so much effort.
Do you want to master C programming and pointers? At Log2Base2, you can easily visualize the C programming and pointers with beautiful animation videos. Also, you can understand complex topics like structures, unions, file handling, dynamic memory allocation, void pointer, dangling pointer, array and string pointer, function pointer, etc. Are you ready to learn? Just log in to w.com. Log to Base 2, the visual learning platform.
Returns a value back to a calling function. Here's an example. I have a function named square. Square is going to accept one argument, a double. It's going to square that double and return the result back to the calling function, double x. And I'm going to call the square function and then pass in some value. Let's say 3.14. So when we call a function, we can also return a value back to the spot in which we called a function. So within our square function, let's set double result equal to x times x, effectively squaring it. So to return a value back to the calling function, we will use this return keyword, followed by some value or variable. I would like to return result. However, we need to list the data type of what we're returning within the function declaration. Right now, it's was an R void to record. Specify 1.4 say return x times x. Instead of declaring a local variable, return x times x. So yeah, that's basically the return statement. You can place it within a function and return a value or variable back to the statement. And you may have Hey, sup people? The ternary operator statement are age years old. So what we're going to do is now move this function from before the main function to after the main function. And let's declare some name and age variables. So char name, use your first name, and int age, make up some age. Now I'm going to invoke my hello function, but pass in an incorrect number of arguments. Now here's one of the benefits of a function prototype. It's going to ensure that we have the correct number of arguments when we invoke a function. So the correct arguments for our hello function are an array of characters and an integer. What if I'm missing one of these arguments? Let's say we only pass in a name and then invoke this function. So this is going to result in unexpected behavior. And we do have a warning here, conflicting types for hello, but this program will still compile and execute. So here's the result. Hello, bro, you are 1,512,352 years old. And if I run this again, this will probably be a different number. So this will result in unexpected behavior. We're not ensuring that calls to a function are made with the correct arguments. One way in which we can do that is to add a function prototype before the main function. And to add a function prototype to a given function, we will declare that function but not give it a body before the main function, and then what this function is going to do. So before the main function, we will type the return type of this function, void, the name of the function, hello, and then add the data type and the order of arguments. So we have a character array and an integer, then end it with a semicolon. So this is our with only, and it's still not compiled to add. Do not check for parameter matching. That's why this program was still able to compile and run without a function prototype, even though we were missing arguments. And that can result in unexpected and unwanted behavior, such as saying that I was over 1 million years old. So a function prototype causes the compiler to flag an error if arguments are missing. You can write the functions before the main function, that's okay too. But
So you want to learn how to code? Go to programmingexpert.io. Watch our introductory video. Write your first line of code. Feeling intimidated? Not to worry. Our platform is user-friendly. Our curriculum guided. Our videos detailed. Our instructor qualified. Our coding workspace intuitive. The best part? You can work at your own pace, on your own schedule, and with hundreds of practice questions and multiple coding projects. Programming Expert is the all-in-one platform to learn how to code at a fraction of the cost of a traditional education. Simple, powerful, affordable. That's Programming Expert.
Is it true that data analysts earn from 60,000 pesos per month?
Yes,
Can data analysts work remotely?
definitely.
Is it true that this profession would be replaced by robots in the future?
Certainly not.
Should I quit my job to study data analytics?
Of course not. Join the Refocus online course. We will teach you how to use Python, SQL, Power BI, and statistics. In 7 months, you will become specialists who can be a freelancer or work in a global company. Hurry up!
Hey, welcome to Draft Academy. My name is Mike. In this course, I'm going to be teaching you guys everything you need to know to get started in the C programming language. C is an awesome programming language, and it's actually one of the oldest programming languages around. In fact, a lot of modern programming languages are based off of C. Array, a bunch of things. And but what is used? There's 5, a lot of so, and I'm always creating a C, like the open type 8, basically this put in element. So one thing, so when I here in the array, first I would say 50 allow them just by model. I can one I went to 200 tables accessing an array that go ahead first 1 instead of printing out an 8, it's going to be printing out a 200. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to run my program. And you'll see we're printing out 200 instead of 8. So you can modify any of the individual elements inside the array just by referring to the index. And really, when you think about this conceptually, an array is basically just holding a bunch of variables. Really, when you this array struct number, you can open X, I can add this form. You guys will see over here, I'm printing out. We'll be able to print out that 4. So over here, I'm printing out 4. If I wanted to access this 15, I can put a 2 in here. So now when I run my program, I want to the first is I want this, but it's basically just an array of characters. The only difference is this is such a common thing, makes it a better understanding of and I would get into our little game. And so anytime we put that in. Other times in the program, we created when we were making our little game, we created an arrays, and I would just say like 20, and then I would get input from the user and put that information in here. This is basically like if I was or calling it like a string of characters, but it's basically just an array of characters that array. In this tutorial, what you just do is you put it inside in Corma. So guys, brackets, and we've kind of just been using this for. And I can specify a function parameter and an open and call but just strings. And this is basically just a collection of code that performs a specific task. So what you can do is you can take a bunch of code, maybe like 5 or 6 or 20 lines of code, and put it inside of a function. And then when you want to access that code that's inside the function, you can call the function. And generally, when you create a function, you'll design the function to perform a specific task. So the function will have a specific purpose. So I'm going to show you guys how to create functions, how to work with them, and we'll just talk about the basics as a specific task. So we can actually create a function here in our C program. Now you'll notice up here we have this block of code. It says int main, and there's an open and close parentheses and an open and close curly brackets. And we've kind of just been using this for the entire course. Like up to this point in the course, we've just been kind of using this main little block of code here. But actually, this is a function. And sometimes you'll hear people call this a method as well. So function and method are 2 words that essentially mean the same thing. But you generally in C, we're going to refer to these as functions. But this is called the main function. And the main function is basically a function that's going to get executed when we start running our program. And so we've already been using a function, this main function, but if you want, we could actually create other functions in our program. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So let's go down and we're going to go here outside of this function. And the way you can tell we're outside the function is we're outside of this ending curly bracket. So down here, I'm going to create a function. And when we create a function, we actually have to give C a couple pieces of information. The first thing we have to tell C is the return type of the function. Return type is basically the type of data that the function is going to return to the user. So sometimes your function can void, and void basically means that this function isn't going to return any information. That's the first thing that you have to tell C. The second thing we have to do is give this function a name. And generally when we're naming a function, we're going to want to name the function according to what it does. So in our case, we're going to create a function that says hi to the user. So I'm just going to call this function say hi, because that's what it's going to do. It's going to say hi. Whenever I create a function now, I want to make an open and closed parentheses, and I'm going to make an open and closed curly bracket. So now, any code that goes in between these curly brackets is going to be considered code that's inside of this function. So let me show you guys. I'm just going to make this a very simple function. We're going to do one thing inside of here. We're just going to make a printf, and we're going to print out hello user. So I've created my function. It's called say hi, and inside of this function we're just printing. So I'm just going to build and run my program, right? In other words, I came down here, I said printf hello user, but this didn't get printed out. And this is the first lesson with functions, is that in order to use the code inside of the function, we have to call it. Calling a function basically means execute this code in an open and closed parentheses. So now, instead of just printing out nothing, C is actually going to go over here and execute all the code in the say hi function. So let's run our code, and you'll see now we're printing out here, and this say hi function is this main function is a very special function, right? When we run our program, we can show you guys that these functions take. I want to show you guys how these get executed by the program. So I'm printing out run my program, hello user, then we're printing out. When C goes to execute this program, it's going to execute this first line of code, printf, so the same, but I could put all any or put it inside information. So I can actually give this function a piece of information, and it can use that information to do different things. This is what's called a parameter, and a parameter is to a function. So let's say in this say hi function, instead of just saying hi to the user, we wanted to say hi to someone specifically. Well, I can actually come down here in these parentheses, and I can specify a function parameter. And I can specify a parameter a lot like I would specify a variable. So I could say, for example, char name, and an open and closed square brackets. And basically what I'm saying down here is this say hi function is going to take as a parameter, in other words, as an input, a string of characters called name. And what I can do is I can come down here and I can actually print that out. So I could say name. Now, over here when I call this say hi function, because I specified that it's going to take a parameter, I have to give it a string. So I could give this a string like Mike, like passing the name around, and you'll customize this function above. So when I roll, and what parameter we also excite int hello. So now when I roll,
We got you.
Ano yan? Angus kayo! Baduy naman yan! Sus, ito dapat! Pili ka na! Sakto! Yung for adventure! Box nyo talaga sabi ko sa'yo! Lupang wow sa pag-ibig. Naghihintay sa ligtan lagi. Naghihintay sa ligtan lagi. Lupang wow sa pag-ibig. Lupang wow sa pag-ibig. Naghihintay sa ligtan lagi. mayabang sa ginisigaw mo na wag magibarubal. Matutong mamahagi sa kapwa, wag magibarubal. Sarili mo bigyan mo na dangal, upang uwaw sa pag-ibig. Naghihintay sa halik ng langit, upang uwaw sa pag-ibig. Naghihintay sa halik ng langit. Halina't sumayaw sa ilalim ng araw, magkawag-kawag ng kamay, isigaw na sabay-sabay ng mayabang.
Sa mabalakat merong kapre, may tabakong sindi-sindi, sa sinag ng bilog ng buwan, bibilan na nagkapikide, bilog na laman ng buwan.
Kabilog ang kabilugan ng buwan,
Ilabas nyo na ang kalokohan.
sige ka baka nang sumangit na dyan.
Huwag nyo nang pipigilan pa.
Sige lang, sige pa, sige lang.
Ang toyo nyo'y lalabas din lamang. Pagilog na naman ang buwan. Meron namang isang lalaki, matuda siya na nga imapide, pero pabilog na ang buwan, siya'y nagtatabis na magi. Bilog na naman ang buwan.
Kabilog ang kabilugan ng buwan,
Ilabas nyo na ang kalokohan.
sige ka baka nang sumangit na dyan.
Huwag nyo lang pipigilan pa.
Sige lang, sige pa, sige lang.
Ang toyo nyo'y lalabas din lamang. Pabilog na naman ang buwan. Na naman ang buwan.
Kabilog ang kabilugan ng
So what you can do is you can make it print out hello user. So I've created my function. It's called say hi, and inside of this function we're just printing out hello user. So now let's go ahead and run.
Pinanghaharap na lamang, umawit na parang bola. Ganyan ako pabilog ang buwan, los na los at napupuhan. Na naman ang buwan,
kabilog ang kabilugan ng buwan,
ilabas nyo na ang kalokohan.
sige ka baka nang sumangit na dyan.
Huwag nyo nang pipigilan pa.
Sige lang, sige pa, sige lang.
Ang toyo nyo'y lalabas din lamang. Pabilog na bilog na naman ang buwan. Mali, 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 mali. Pabilog, bilog, bilog na naman ang buwan. Mali, 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 mali. Pabilog, bilog, bilog na naman ang buwan. Mali, 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 mali. Pabilog, bilog, bilog na naman ang buwan.
On our program that
Wala ka bang napapansin sa iyong mga kapaligiran? Kay dumi na ng hangin, pati na ang mga ilog natin. Hindi nga masama ang pag-unlad at
You see, we edit a lot of videos every day, so we don't get much time to answer emails or write long proposals for clients.
Whoever called it how the giving really just saying caller thing, or that you want to use this line of code. Like I could call this function a bunch of times with different different names. Going to be another double called result, and I'm going to set it equal to num times. In this tutorial, I want to talk to you guys
All these flavors in one creamy coffee cup. Nescafe Creamy Latte. Tikman na!
about while loops in C. Now, a while loop is basically a structure in the C programming language that we can use to loop over and continually execute a specific block of code until a certain condition is false. So I can specify a condition, and then I can basically just loop over a bunch of classes. I want to create now I want to create a while loop condition. Code index equal to, and I want to do something shortcut. We can do things. Print out index, and then I want to increment increment index. And I'm going to keep looping through this code while index is less than or equal to 5. So let's go ahead and run this program, and maybe you can predict what's going to happen. So what's happening in this loop? When it's going to look at equal to 5, C is going to go in here, and it's going to 5 through. It's going to go C that incremented is this thing. So we can that. Just text that is the name. Definitely want to watch creating processes or something. It can slow. Let's just do double C's. Result breaks us, and it's going to return. Actually, call this. So I can do not get a. I can just essentially. What's going to happen now is we're going to call this back this core.
Oh my goodness! Oh! You should have returned. Just number problem TikTok shows. Because nothing wrong. Dalawa lang pala. Choose a number. Hindi natin dito kasi parang tingnan. Choose a number of mine. Choose a number. Two. Tama ba? If bigyan natin ng switch. Pink. This one. And that is to number dot how did you know that is my favorite? Right. Ganyan. Or else na lang. Else na lang siguro. Oh, wait. Kasi pangit eh. Kasi pag default if train is 1 equal to 3. Or one. Huh? Else How you know that is my favorite thing? Yan. Let's see. No, it cannot. Extreme is extreme is less. Wait. Zero. One. Pwede ba ulit ako mag-double while? Wrong. Oh shit. Nakuha yung mic ko. Wrong, that is not my favorite drink. If drink is greater or zero, one is greater. Basta lagay na lang natin. No, 6 daw. Ito, X, tapos drink is equals to 4. Looping, may duty looping. How did you know? Oh, he's not fucking. Let's go, looping, duty, looping. That's how we loop. Sheesh, looping. -1. Invalid number. Oh, invalid number. 21. Oh, 1. Wrong. That is not my favorite. Wrong. Oops, wrong spelling tayo, my dude. Wrong spelling. Wrong spelling. Oh. Dali lang pala mag-loop eh. Gosh, in mo. Sige lang, naglaway dito. It can't do it, cannot. What if I use void? What if I use void? Void. As follows. Fucking bullshit daw. Every time. Kung paano tayong void. Ikaw lang mag-void. What's wrong with this shit? Kaya mag-void. After ng return. Let's start after ng return natin. Yan. What to hit? What to hit? What to? Oh. Pero dapat palaging say us. Yan, say us. Say us. Pangin na every time. What ilagay ko din dito? Say us. Say us. It can't do it. It cannot do it. Draw. That is not my keyboard. Wink. Wink one. Say us. Say us.
You, me, and no.
Why I'm laughing with this shit? What record ko to? Gago. Inagloko gago. So, ang ganda ng mga fishing top. Oh. Ulit. Interesting. Tanayo ko na. Pagod na ako. Gusto ko pa sana ayusin pero wag na. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Watch this stream. I'm tired right now. I can't anymore. I can't. Bye.